Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're breaking down Margot Robbie's style, and she's actually a fascinating case study in how to build a strong fashion identity without relying on noise or overstyling. Because when you look closely at her wardrobe across premieres, press tours, street style and red carpets, you start to notice very clear patterns. The silhouettes are controlled, the proportions are deliberate, the styling is restrained in a very strategic way. And even when she steps into highly themed fashion moments, the execution stays polished and precise. She's someone who understands the difference between wearing a look and being worn by it. That's why she can move between classic Hollywood glamour, modern tailoring, character-driven press tour fashion, and very relaxed off-duty dressing. And it still feels cohesive. Nothing looks random, nothing looks overloaded, and nothing feels disconnected from her overall image. So in this video, we're going to decode the Margot Robbie style formula in detail. The signature shapes she repeats, the styling rules she follows, how her fashion evolved over time, and the exact elements that make her outfits consistently work on camera and in real life. Margot Robbie's popularity comes from a rare combination of range, timing, and control over her career path. She's not only associated with major cultural hit films, but she's also built a reputation for performance versatility, moving convincingly between comedy, drama, satire, and high-energy character roles. That flexibility keeps her relevant across different audiences instead of locking her into one type. At the same time, she carries a very approachable public persona, warm in interviews, grounded in tone, and never overly manufactured, which makes mainstream viewers connect to her beyond just the roles she plays. Another major factor is that she didn't build her fame only in front of the camera. By actively producing projects and helping develop story-driven films, she positioned herself as a creative force, not just a cast member. That gives her image more weight and longevity, because audiences and the industry both see her as someone shaping modern cinema, not just appearing in it. Add to that her ability to create clear eras around her projects, where film, press appearances, and fashion presentation align, and you get a star whose popularity feels structured and lasting rather than trend-based. Margot Robbie's everyday style is built around what I'd call relaxed structure. When she's off-duty, airport looks, errands, casual appearances, you see the same formula repeat, clean tailoring mixed with laid-back basics. Oversized or straight-cut blazers, simple tees or knits, denim relaxed trousers, and practical outerwear show up again and again. The silhouettes are never chaotic. Even when pieces are loose, the outfit still has a readable shape. She tends to keep the color palette grounded, neutrals, denim blues, black cream soft earth tones, which makes mixing easy and keeps the overall impression polished without looking styled. Another consistent pattern is that her casual looks are grounded by practical elements that make them feel real, not curated for camera. Flat shoes, minimal sneakers, simple boots, crossbody or larger tote bags, and very light jewelry are part of her regular rotation. She rarely overloads accessories in daytime looks. Hair and makeup follow the same logic. Natural texture, soft waves or a simple tie back, fresh skin, minimal emphasis. The effect is approachable but still elevated, like she dressed for her day, not for a photo, and that's exactly why it works. What makes her everyday wardrobe distinct is that it's trend-aware, but not trend-dependent. You'll see modern proportions and current shapes, but interpreted through classic pieces rather than statement items. Instead of chasing novelty, she updates basics through cut and fit. Slightly boxier jackets, straighter jeans, longer coats, cleaner sneakers. That's why her off-duty style ages well and feels consistent year to year. It's built on proportion, restraint, and repeatable formulas rather than fashion noise. This is the phase where you can literally watch Margot Robbie being introduced to the industry as a future leading lady. and the styling reflects that intention very clearly. She leans into classic bombshell and old Hollywood codes: sleek dresses, body-skimming silhouettes, defined waists, strong glamour, and at times a bolder lip or more dramatic eye. Hair is usually polished. Controlled waves, deep side parts, clean shapes that frame the face for the camera. The looks in this period are less experimental and more about establishing screen presence and recognizability. It's foundation-building style. A major shift. Chanel becomes a consistent fashion anchor for her. She was appointed a Chanel ambassador in 2018 and fronted the Coco Neige campaign shot by Karl Lagerfeld. So from that point on, she's frequently connected to that Parisian, polished, quietly luxurious world. And once you know that, her classic but modern styling makes even more sense, because Chanel as a house really rewards that balance: structure plus softness, tradition plus edge. From this stage forward, you can see more couture-level construction, more refined tailoring, and more disciplined red carpet choices. Tweeds, sculpted dresses, clean monochrome looks, and sharply defined silhouettes start appearing more often. This era is where her fashion identity stabilizes. She stops looking like someone trying different glamorous looks and starts looking like someone with a consistent aesthetic lane. Even when she wears other designers, the same codes show up: polish, proportion, and controlled elegance. This becomes one of the clearest examples in recent celebrity fashion of wardrobe used as narrative strategy. The press tour style is built as a visual storyline, with looks referencing specific dolls, archival silhouettes, and recognizable fashion moments tied to Barbie history. But what makes it work is precision. The outfits are themed, yes, but they're also sharply tailored, cleanly styled, and visually controlled. It's not just color-driven dressing, it's reference-driven dressing. Every appearance feels intentional, connected, and decoded by fashion audiences, almost in real time. And importantly, she never disappears inside the theme. Even at the most playful and high-concept moments, the proportions flatter her, the styling stays elegant, and she looks in command of the look, rather than overwhelmed by it. After that maximal high-visibility fashion chapter, her public wardrobe shifts back toward a quieter off-duty uniform, and the contrast is very noticeable. We start seeing relaxed tailoring, denim, simple knits, practical flats and sneakers, baseball caps, and larger tote bags show up repeatedly. The palette becomes more neutral again, the silhouettes more functional, the styling lighter. But it never reads sloppy. The fits are still intentional, the pieces still structured enough to hold shape, and the overall impression is understated luxury rather than trend display. It's the kind of everyday dressing that looks effortless but is actually proportion-driven. This era reinforces that her core style is grounded and wearable, even after a major fashion spectacle moment. With the Wuthering Heights rollout, her style shifts into a moody, gothic romance lane that feels purposely atmospheric. More windswept, more Victorian-coded, more literary heroine, and yes, very much method dressing. The wardrobe starts reading like gothic romance in fashion form. Corsetry as a recurring silhouette, dark or blood-toned accents, antique-feeling jewelry, feathered or textured finishes, and shapes that nod to period dressing without turning into literal costume. You can see the concept being built, look by look. One appearance will lean windswept and ethereal, another will go sharply structured and almost severe. Yet the thread stays consistent. Tortured romance, drama, and a very intentional sense of atmosphere. Robbie and her longtime stylist Andrew Mukamal deploy clothing as another storytelling tool, crafting looks that feel tied to the emotional landscape of Wuthering Heights. As a huge Bronte fan myself, I honestly love this era. It feels thoughtful and emotionally aligned rather than decorative. There are also strong fashion history signals in this chapter. including a notable archival Vivienne Westwood corset look from the house's late 90s time machine era, which fits perfectly with the gothic romance direction, and Westwood's long connection to historical and Victorian references. The most striking example of this narrative-driven fashion is her custom Delara Findicolu gown at the London premiere. A sheer, corseted silhouette woven with braided, hair-like detailing that visually references Victorian mourning traditions and the Bronte legacy. Margot Robbie's red carpet fashion sits at the intersection of modern glamour and controlled classicism. Over the years, her premiere and awards looks show a clear preference for sculpted silhouettes, couture-level construction, and editorial polish rather than trend-heavy experimentation. The visual language is consistent: strong lines, defined structure, balanced proportions, and styling that keeps the focus on the overall shape instead of scattered details. She frequently collaborates with major couture and heritage fashion houses, and her appearances often reflect atelier craftsmanship rather than seasonal trend pieces, which gives her carpet history a timeless quality. Some promo cycles lean classic and refined, others become highly conceptual and reference-driven, but the execution stays disciplined and editorial. Even in her most theatrical fashion chapters, the presentation remains controlled. Accessories are edited, beauty direction is calibrated, and the silhouette stays the anchor. The result is a red carpet portfolio that feels curated like a fashion story, not just a collection of dresses. If we put Margot Robbie's style into one clear sentence, it's this: structured, polished, and narrative-aware, but never overworked. Her fashion identity is built on proportion, restraint, and clarity. Whether she's dressing casually, appearing on a red carpet, or stepping into a themed promo era, the same core rules stay visible: strong silhouette, controlled styling, limited visual noise, and intentional finish. She doesn't chase trends for the sake of novelty. She filters them through classic shapes and modern tailoring, so the result feels current but not disposable. Another key part of her style nutshell is balance. She balances glamour with ease, drama with discipline, concept with wearability. Even in her most theatrical fashion chapters, she still looks like herself. Not like she disappeared into a costume. That consistency is what turns good outfits into a recognizable style signature. You're not just seeing looks, you're seeing a system at work. When you're dressing with this style approach, think in terms of silhouette first and detail second. Start by choosing shapes that read clearly and confidently from a distance, then keep everything else visually quiet so the outline stays the focus. Work with controlled proportions, balanced volume, and a limited color story so the look feels cohesive instead of busy. Let one element lead and allow the rest to support it. Aim for polish without stiffness and elegance without excess. Keep styling edited, finishes clean, and the overall impression intentional but not forced. If the mood is more dramatic, simplify the styling. If the mood is more relaxed, keep the structure. The goal is always the same: composed, modern, and camera-ready without looking overdone. And that's the Margot Robbie style blueprint: structured, modern, and consistently intentional. She's a perfect example of how powerful fashion becomes when it's built on proportion and discipline instead of excess. The takeaway isn't to copy specific looks, it's to understand the system behind them. Clear silhouette, edited styling, and choices that support your overall image. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments which celebrity style breakdown you want next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.